Welcome to Dan ARG YouTube. Olu Martins, they talk about the appeal court judgment wey favour the Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo. He also talk about 2027 election. Peter Obi and Atiku and other opposition leaders wan work together to defeat Tinubu for 2027 election. Make I leave you, make you hear from Olu Martins, the message wey bring come. Try watch this video from beginning to the end. He put mouth for so many things.
Good evening, good evening. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just let me know if you can hear me. I attached the device, so I need to know that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me. Good evening, good evening, good evening, or good morning, as it is my culture. I know I haven't been live in a while, but I just thought to engage live today. So if you can hear me, please let me know that you can hear me. Please let me know that you can hear me. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'd like to know if somebody can hear me. But I just thought to engage live today. Okay, I think that you can hear me. Please let me know that you can. Yeah, I think it's loud enough. I think it's loud enough. Welcome to my live broadcast. As you can see, the title there. We're dealing with a couple of issues, sundry issues, a whole lot of issues here and there. Of course, like you know, they have the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal has taken a decision, or there's a verdict on the Edo State governorship gubernatorial elections that took place in November last year, and our principal, Dr. Asoy Godalo, has made a statement in that regard. Of course, we're heading straight to the Supreme Court. So if I have the opportunity, I may like to read to you what our principal has said in one of the broadcasts he sent to us, and he has encouraged us to be firm. He has encouraged us to stay firm. We're going to the Supreme Court. All right. So let me thank everybody so far. Thank everybody for staying connected. For staying committed to the cause, no doubt about it. Because of course, by now a lot of people may have, in fact, there'll be a lot of prophets now. I'm seeing a lot of people on Facebook say all of a sudden saying that, oh, you know what, we told them not to go to court. Oh, we told them this, told them. It's okay, it's okay. It's one of those things that happens when it looks like the tide is not on your side. Everybody's all of a sudden become prophetic because everybody wants to join the winning side in the manner of speaking. So I've lost a couple of people. Some people can't wait for the terminus aqua. They can't wait till the very end of the journey. And some people have tried to reach out to me, and I say, come on now, if your wife dies, for instance, as a matter of example, are you not going to wait for at least 1 year for the woman to be buried because before you see yourself, marrying somebody else? So for those who cannot stay, who think that, it's getting tougher for them economically, and they need to pitch their tent in a manner of speaking with the APC at the state level, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. There's no issue about it. There's no issue about it. However, is that it will be ludicrous, completely preposterous for anybody to think that we will not pursue this journey, this legal pursuit to the terminus aqua. After several reasons, there are several people who have lost this same journey at the tribunal, lost at the Court of Appeal, and won at the Supreme Court. Somebody may say, oh, you are daydreaming. This is President Tinubu's era. And in President Tinubu's era, the courts have been captured. Fair and well, but how can you tell a man who believes that he won an election not to pursue it to its terminus aqua? How can you say somebody should not pursue his conviction to his terminus aqua? Supposing that is where God wants to surprise him, and then he doesn't pursue it to the terminus aqua. At any rate, who starts a process and the person doesn't finish it? Anybody who starts a process, the person must be ready to finish that process. So you can't start a process and then you're not willing, to start that, to end that process. So clearly is that we'll pursue it to however it goes at the Supreme Court. We will accept the verdict of the Supreme Court. It's not like we have a choice. If the Supreme Court doesn't also favor them, they should also accept the verdict of the Supreme Court. But I want to thank Dr. Aswan Ighodalo for his commitment, for his courage. And that people have a lot of things to say. He tried. He put in his effort. And he didn't need to put in his effort. The man was comfortable where he was. He made a lot of sacrifice. He thought that he had a lot more to offer. And then because he thought he had a lot more to offer, he threw his heart into the ring and he said that, we're going to do this thing to the end. How many people are courageous? How many people are intelligent? Because I found out that most people who are critical haven't done much with their lives. Most people who talk loudly, who talk about you, who talk badly about you, have not attempted what you have attempted. And I've told people that if you must advise me, you must first of all have attempted what I have attempted 10 times. Whether you succeeded or not, you must have attempted it. So when I look at comments, and then that's one of the things I have about Edo State, especially Benin State. I can't understand why people can be so abusive. There are too many illiterates online, and it tells you the level of education. Too many illiterates. Some people don't even hear what you have to say. All you just hear, fake pastor, useless this, this is who you are. Once it is politics, the stakes are too high. Once it is politics, some people have no other job other than politics. So when it looks like you're threatening their existence, they're ready to say all manner of things. Like I wrote in an article, I sent out earlier today. I'm beginning to consider: do I really want to raise my children in this Benin City? Because the level of the amount of local people in this Benin City who don't know how to intellectually engage is too much. Some of us are beginning to think that our intellectual capacity may be too high for this town, because there are just a few people that you can interact with intellectually and profitably. Very, very few people. The rest of them are just good at throwing tantrums, insults, puerile attempts. They can't. Because they think that they cannot match you intellectually. All they resort to are insult, and insult. But what do we do now? Like we say in Christianity, heaven levels everybody. Politics is a leveler. You just see a leveler. You just see one guy who didn't go to secondary school, who can barely speak English, and then because Facebook too has leveled us, he thinks that he can talk to you anyhow. That's why before I reply anybody, I always go to their profile to check. Make no compilation one imbecile I'm replying to, and then you're wasting your energy. So once I see that you have put there no school, all right, it means that you're not proud of the school that you went to, or you didn't go to school at all, or you don't want us to, or you had problems, so you don't want us to go and investigate your education. So what do? I don't do anything. I just relax. I just say, you know what? I'm not going to engage such individuals. But it is what it is. The game is what it is. If I was on air preaching now, people are not going to have a lot to say. Oh, amen, praise God. Oh, pastor, thank you for this. God will bless you. But the moment you threaten their political existence, they're not willing to engage. They're not even willing to listen to what you have to say. All that you are just going to get is different insults, different things. My father used to tell me in Yoruba that insults doesn't show on you. If you didn't tell anybody that you were just insulted, nobody is going to know that you are being insulted. So I just push it aside. I take the sense from the nonsense and I just move on. Because what people are trying to do is to get people with head, to try to get them out of the political scene. And that's why a lot of my pastor friends don't participate in politics. They don't have the skin for it. They don't have the nerve for it. And I'm not talking, it's not a negative thing, but for many of them, if you're not built for this thing, if your flesh is not like, it's not pure leather, you will just, the barrage of criticism that will come to you, you just faint along the road. But since 1999, when I contested election as Student Union President in the Ambrose Ali University, we have put our hands on the plow, and there is no looking back. In fact, there are some people who don't even know that I started my first church in 1997, the Communion Fellowship in town, and then my first indigenous church was actually in 2003. So I've been doing ministry since 2003. Some people think I just started because my ministry, my church in Benin City is doing 7 years. Yes, I left off pastoring for about 10 years or so thereabout. But honestly, my first church is in 2003. So I'm not as young in the things of God as you would think that I am. So, but the part I've decided to project is the part that most people know in Benin City. There are places I go to, Lagos, they don't know me politically. They know me as a pastor. They don't know that I belong to this political party, or I do this thing at the level of media analysis or political activist or whatever it is. They don't know that. They just know me as pastor. They don't know me as pastor. So there are a lot of people who know me as pastor, but most people just know me as reverend. And the moment they hear Reverend Olu Martins, they think it's about politics. That's fine. That's the part I decided to showcase. But I have a functional ministry. As a matter of fact, on the 12th to on the 15th of the month of June, that is just by the corner, we'll be celebrating our 70th anniversary. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about sundry issues, to encourage members of the People's Democratic Party that it is not over until it is all over. All right. Yes, we have been to the tribunal. The tribunal didn't decide for us. The Court of Appeal didn't decide for us. But if you're a student of history, you know that you can lose at those levels, and then the Supreme Court can change the tide for you. It happened to Hope Uzodinma. It happened to Nyesom Wike and a couple of other people. So we've got to hold tight to the end. We've got to encourage ourselves. We've got to keeping on. But I tell people, you must have an alternative source of income. You must have an alternative source of interaction. There must be other things that you're doing that brings money into your hands. Otherwise, the temptation of porting from one political party to the other is very high. It's very, very high. And some people couldn't even wait. All right, immediately the results were announced. Some people by the next week ported. Some people just, we don't begrudge them. Politics is live and let live, at least to the best of our ability. But for us, we have decided that we'll pursue this matter to its very terminus aqua. However it goes, then we'll recalibrate, we'll reposition. If it goes in our direction, like the Muslims say, alhamdulillah, we push on and give Edo what Edo deserves. If it doesn't go that way, because many people have said that the courts are for sale now, we'll still give God a praise and recalibrate and decide what we want to do, you know, with our political life going forward. But my interest tonight is talk about the coalition. The coalition must work for the interest of Nigeria. I did a video some time back where I said the coalition must work, and I know a lot of people who are sentimental, who are obedient like me. At the last presidential election, I was fully obedient. In fact, I was one of the spokespersons that was chosen at the party level to represent Mr. Peter Obi in terms of media articulation. So I was very much obedient at that level. But I like to educate people. You must understand what is going on. What the odds that were for Peter Obi in 2003 are not the odds that are for him now. The circumstances, the playing field is slightly different. And I'll just do a bit of analysis for those who want to, you know, get an insight into it. In 2003, power was moving from the north to the south. So it was a tabula rasa. If a southern person won that election, he was entitled to stay in office. He will be entitled to stay in office for 8 years. After 8 years, the North will expect that power will go back to them. Unfortunately, it happened the way it happened, and then Peter Obi didn't get it. What it means is that the opportunity for the South to produce a president for 8 years, part of that 8 years is being eaten right now, but by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So by the time Peter Obi is going to be if he wants to run for the presidency again in 2027, it would mean that he can only run for 4 years before the North begin to agitate for it. But then this is the twist to it. From 1999 to 2025 that we are in now, that's approximately 26 years. And if you count with me, 1999 to 2007, 8 years, President Obasanjo was president from the South. Umar Yar'Adua took over for him. After 2 years, he passed on. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan did 2 years, went for a re-election, got 4 years. So, rightly speaking, President Tinubu did it for 8 years. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan did it for 6 years. If you combine two of them together, that is 14 years. After President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, President Muhammadu Buhari did it for 8 years. So if you add Muhammadu Buhari's 8 years to Yar'Adua's 2 years, that's 10 years. If you had Goodluck Jonathan's 6 years to Obasanjo's 8 years, that's 14 years. So the North already feel that there is a 4-year deficit. Inside that 4-year deficit, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has done 2 years, and he will do another 4 years at the minimum. So the South would have done 16 years by 2027, and the North would have done 10 years. If you decide, if you say, oh, it's got to be Peter Obi, what it will mean is that if we throw up Peter Obi, the suspicion from the North is that Peter Obi is going to do another. If he does another 8 years, supposing he wins and takes over from Bola Tinubu, if he does 8 years, it means that the South will be in office 16 plus 8. He would have been in office for 24 years. So how do we convince the North, for instance, to vote for Peter Obi for a possible 8 years? And then they may be in limbo for 12 straight years if you add the 4 years that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do, and then if you add another 4 years that Peter Obi may do, supposing he wins, or another 8 years, that's 24 straight years. So the challenge may be, how do we convince the North, who are agitating now, who feel sidelined? If you throw up Peter Obi, the chances are that the North will prefer a Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because they're sure that after 4 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, supposing they get re-elected, they can wait for 4 years than the challenge of possibly having Peter Obi for 8 years again. I hope you have that. I hope you understand that, political dynamics. That's why I say what played out for Peter Obi in 2003 is not the same thing that is playing out for him in the next coming election in 2027. First of all, Peter Obi, as it stands now, cannot alone win the election against the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is now president. It wasn't easy before he became president. Now that he is president, railroading everybody and moving towards a one-party state, there isn't one individual that has the capacity or not one individual party has the capacity. So Peter Obi may not necessarily fly in 2027. And I'm just doing political analysis. I'm an obedient person. How do you tell the 19 northern states to vote for Peter Obi when the chances are that Peter Obi can be there for 8 years, supposing he wins that election? Don't you think that the North will prefer that Tinubu just finishes his 4 extra years, by which time power can come to them? Are they going to wait to say, okay, let's give it to Peter Obi, if a southerner who will do 4 years, and who will possibly do another 4 years ago? That will culminate into 8 years, plus the 4 years that President Tinubu has done. So the North will be in limbo for 12 straight years. It's going to be difficult to sell that narrative to them. Very difficult to sell that narrative, to them. So if you put up Peter, what you're going to have is South and Southeast. It's very unlikely that the Southwest is going to want to throw away its son and vote for Peter Obi. So if you ask me, If you ask me, the North right now, just sorry about that network is sorry about that network, and I think my hand touched something. I apologize. We're back live, and we're doing an analysis why the coalition must work, and why, as obedience, we must change our perspective. We must be flexible, because politics is about crisis and consensus. We must be willing to compromise if we want to remove this unitarian draconian approach that the APC has put us into. We must be ready and willing to compromise. We can't compromise. We can't come out and say, oh no, it's got to be Peter Obi. Oh, it's got to be Peter Obi. I desire that it is Peter Obi. But politics is about statistics. Reverend Emmanuel Meshach Otwamage, thank you for coming back. Maybe I should wait a little bit for more people to join us. We had a bit of a technical hitch, so we went off a little bit. Sorry about that. We're back, on air, again doing analysis of. I've spoken a little bit about a court of appeal, and to say that as a party we're going forward. God's time, Charles and Ramosele. Thank you for joining me back. Let's just wait a little bit for more people to tune in. So we're doing 2005. We're trying to educate ourselves politically, because as a politician, you've got to understand that politics is mathematics. It's a game of numbers. Right now, the momentum, people who are really feeling aggrieved, who are mostly angry with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are guys from the north, and the presidency in itself is panicking. You can see how they're throwing appointments at the northern axis, doing whatever they can, because they know that these northerners, once they take a direction, it is very difficult to convince them. It's very difficult to convince them. So I was saying before we went off that we may not, the circumstances that were available, that was on ground when Peter Obi was thrown up and carried, that entropy, that mass movement that we had in 2003, we may not be able to have it again, for obvious reasons. Number one reason is that as at the time that power was coming back to the south, the north couldn't bother whoever it was. They had no stake. The best they could get was vice president. And if you know these northern guys, they don't really care about vice presidency. They're not really keen about who the vice president is. They are more keen about who the president is. So power coming to the south, and especially to the southeast that were most ripe for it, was the drive in 2023. Peter Obi would have done 8 straight years, supposing he had been declared in that election. But part of that 8 years now, President Tinubu has already done 4 years of it, of power in the south. If we insist as obedient that it's got to be Peter Obi, how do we carry the north along? Because the possibility is that Peter Obi will do 8 years. So are you asking that power should be out of the north for 12 straight years? 4 years of President Tinubu, and then 4 years of President, or 8 years of President Peter Obi. That's 4 years. The most likely thing that may happen. Let me put on my generator, please. Just hold on. Don't go anywhere. You are in Nigeria. Let me quickly on my generator. Please just hold on. Oh, 805. I should have known that. Don't worry. I got it. All right, sorry about that. This is Nigeria. All right. So I was saying it, that it's going to be difficult for our dear brother Peter Obi to fly in 2027. It's not going to be like it was when 8 years was available. How do we convince northern Nigeria to leave power in the south for 12 years
because Peter Obi is young. If Peter Obi wins the election, clearly he is eligible to do 8 years. And that's a risk I don't think that the northern factors are willing to bear. I doubt if they are willing to bear that risk. So I'm talking essentially to the obedience and to those of you who love Peter Obi, or at least who hate the status quo as it stands today. We've got to be flexible, because I've seen people say, oh, if it's about Atiku, this coalition will not work. Politics is not necessarily 2 plus 2 like that. We've got to think a little bit deeper than that, because if we give it to Peter Obi, and that's my desire, all right, it will be easy for APC to go to the north and tell the north, do you want to gamble with Peter Obi for another who can do 8 years, or wait for President Tinubu to just do an extra 4 years and then power comes back to you? It's just pretty simple. It's just pretty simple. So our best bet is that now the northerners feel agitated, that they vex well, then they para well, because they feel that they are sidelined. And I mean, what can you really blame them for it? This president appears to be running a pure Yoruba government, and not just a Yoruba government, a Lagos Yoruba government. That's exactly what it is. People didn't think that it was going to be like this. For me, it's not. People can argue that the president has done this, the president has done that, the president has done that. I really don't care about the physical infrastructure like that, even though we're not feeling it. Petrol subsidy, I still bought petrol today, 910 naira. And we're not, the average human being, the average Nigerian isn't feeling the impact of it. My challenge is the insensitivity, the recklessness with which this presidency runs Nigeria. The fact that it doesn't even care. There's no empathy of connectivity. It's not showing that it knows that the Nigerian people are suffering. It's not showing it at all. There's been killings in almost 8 or 9 states of the Federation, and we have not seen the president make an appearance in any of them, whether it is Jos, whether it is in Benue, whether it is in Edo, whether it is in Borno, wherever it is. We have not seen that. We have not seen the president. And the fact that everybody appears to be kowtowing or capitulating to the whims and caprices of Mr. President worries me. The National Assembly seems to be in cahoot to make sure that Nigerians suffer. Whatever the presidency wants, he gets it under the leadership of Godwill Akpabio. And it appears like everybody have thrown their hat, everybody has joined in the rat race to amass. I heard the other time that the Directorate of State Security, DSS, built an Amajiri school. They didn't ask the Ministry of Works to build it. They built an Amajiri school and named it after a sitting president. I used to think that when we wanted to name, you allow the president to exist, which is the moral thing to do. But the Directorate of State Security is building an Amajiri school, and they are saying that is counter, terrorist thing, is counter-terrorism. I don't understand where that really happens, because the DSS is about security. So if a security organization is not asking a state government to build an Amajiri school, it's not asking the Ministry of Works to build an Amajiri school, or it's not asking the Ministry of Education, for whom it is directly in their purview, to build an Amajiri school. The DSS built the Amajiri school, and then they have named it after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So for me, the problem is just the insensitivity, because nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And I'm sorry to say it, this leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not sufficiently, that is, if it has shown at all, that he cares about the plight of the people. The optics do not show us that. Instead, we see the optics when the president travels out. We see the optics when the president arrives. But when there's killing in Benue, killing in Jos Plateau, there is challenge in Edo State, you don't see the president makes any appearance. Any real leader who is connected with these people. I remember 9/11 some years back. When President Bush got to the location of 9/11, he fainted. They tried to resuscitate him again when he saw the the decrepit, when he saw how bad things were, he fainted again. So a president who feels the heart of the people will be gallivanting up and down, will be thinking about how to deal with the insecurity of the Nigerian people. But of course, insecurity has extended to the insecurity of stomach. People are just living large. You heard when one person was, I think it was in Edo State, where he says a House of Rep member under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu got 1 billion annually for constituency vote, and then the House of a senator gets 2 billion for constituency. This is outside the other largesse that they get. So my problem is that we seem to have a president who's just ready to deal, just give you what to. He's a great politician, but I fear to say that he's a terrible administrator. He's a great politician, but he loves politics. He's able to do whatever it is to be political right. He's very politically swayed, but in terms of administration, in terms of real leadership, because truth be told, if you are too much of a politician, you will not be a human being. If you are too much of a human being, you may not be a politician. So you need a blend of two of them. President Goodluck Jonathan was too much of a human being to be a politician. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is too much of a politician to be a human being, because you've got to have a balance of two of them. But let's go back to the issues of the coalition. That's why I've told people that we've got to be flexible as a people. It is in our interest that we put all the cards on the table. I do not think that Peter Obi, for instance, will fly in 2027. He may fly in southern Nigeria, the south-south and the southeast. I don't see how the southwest will sacrifice President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for Peter Obi. So we'll be able to hold on to south-south and southeast. When we go to the north, that's where the major challenge will be. Because it will be easy for APC to go to the north. I say, you want to give it to Peter Obi, a freshman who will do 8 years, and that threat that he will do 8 years may discourage the northerners, the northern Nigeria. They will prefer to wait for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do 4 years, and he comes back to them. The risk is too much. They are not going to be able to take that. So it will be a demotivation for them. So for me, this is what I think. I think we should look for a versatile northerner. We should look for a versatile northerner who understands the topography of the north, who the northern people can queue after, because that's exactly how President Buhari won. He had secured vote in the north. He needed support from the southwest, and that support, or he needed support from the south, and that support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at that time, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the leader of ACN APC, provided it for him. They also were a major. There was CPC, there was NPDP, there was part of APGAP that Rochas Okorocha brought into the game, and then there was APC. So it was a major. It was a coalition. Well, theirs was a major because all of them now fused into a body called APC. Ours is a coalition where we are directing members of the coalition to direct their votes in one particular basket. You put everything, you put all the eggs in one basket, you keep your eyes on the basket. So if you must win this election, I doubt if anybody from the south can be able to muster the votes, against President Tinubu. You see what President Tinubu is doing? He appears to be cleaning up the south. At least in terms of the power structures, he appears to be cleaning up the south. He's not as successful in his inroad into the north, because these northern guys, once they make up their mind, now one way there they go. So it is in our interest. That's why I like the idea that Atiku is musing, or his group are musing, that Atiku should do one term of 4 years. They will sign an agreement. That agreement will be made public, to make available, and everybody will sign it. It's not the ones that somebody will now go and deny. No, I didn't say, but it will be made available to be in all of the newspapers. There will be a well televised arrangement where everybody will sign that somebody like Atiku will do 4 years. Then after just 4 years, power can come back to the south, in which case Peter Obi will have the opportunity to go at it. Otherwise, any other arrangement from that We'll be secure in our south, but we will not be able to get an inroad into the north, because the northerners will rather patiently wait for President Tinubu to finish an extra 4 years than to take the risk of voting for Peter Obi, who may possibly do another 8 years. And with all due respect, that's not what it is. But you know, a lot of people don't trust our Igbo brothers. They don't trust our Igbo brothers because they think that you can't really hold them to the things that they say. The northerners are more trustworthy. Whether it is suya they sell, whether it is bike, wherever you find the northerner, another man, in most instances, he tells you, yes, it's going to be yes. So, first of all, we need to get the coalition right. So, I'm happy that Kwakanso is part of it. I'm happy that Dati, Obi's deputy, is part of it. I'm happy that Peter Obi is part of it. I'm happy that Professor Pat Utomi is part of it. I'm happy that a whole lot of people are part of the coalition. As Nigerians, we can't allow one man to turn Nigeria into a fiefdom. Because this is Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not the Federal Republic of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Son Limited. The one that pisses me off most is the rascality and the forwardness of his son. The rascality of the forward. Nigeria is not Togo. All right? I mean, formally, we voted for your father. We did not vote you. So I would have thought that the son would be in the shadows, just coordinating some things for the father at the back. But to see the son visibly, coming to this, it's the first time I'm seeing it in Nigeria, where the son of President Tinubu is not the first president of Nigeria, but he's the first president of Nigeria where his son is just gallivanting and acting like a deputy president. And for me, that is inadmissible. We cannot renege. We cannot subscribe to a situation where we are now like Togo, and Ayadema succeeds and Ayadema. Because we've got to wake up and tell ourselves that nobody is more Nigerian than the other. We are all equally Nigerian, and anybody can be the president of this country. Anybody can be the governor of their state. Anybody can be the chairman of their state. We all just need to rise to the occasion to ensure that we come together. Let us first of all agree. My father used to tell me that you've got to first of all chase the hawk away before you tell the fowl that it's a careless mother. I don't know how much more we can survive this kind of presidency where the poverty is oozing from the ground, and where people are just rushing like vultures to get their own part of the national cake, which Mr. President is willing to cut for anybody. So people who are against Mr. President are now, speaking for him, and some of them were vehemently against him, called him all sorts of unprintable names. They are now spokespersons. So this president, he must understand that before he was president, he had planned for this presidency. If it was difficult, who can crook not to allow him emerge? And then he still emerged. You can imagine now that he is seated as a seeming political arc upon the Tutikapi. People are decamping every day because they are after the visuals. I can't believe that 2 years to the end of a president's tenure, there's so much hoopla about a reemergence. There's so much hoopla about a reemergence. You would have thought a lot of this hoopla would have been by next year, but there's so much hoopla. So this is my take on the coalition. The coalition firstly has got to work. We've got to be dispassionate about who will fly the flag of the president of the coalition. We've got to be dispassionate ethnically. We've got to be dispassionate religiously. We've got to be strategic about it. Where can the bulk of the vote come from? Can the bulk of the vote come from southern Nigeria? I doubt. And the president already knows too. He knows that the problem is going to be in the north because he has held down the south. So why do we want to go to an area where he has already, in a manner of speaking, partially captured? You can see what has happened in Delta State. Delta State has never fallen to APC before. But our dear governor and the leader of the party, who, by the way, benefited the bulk of what who made two of them were his PDP. But that's a story for another day. So Delta is APC. As it stands today, except the Supreme Court does something else, Edo is APC. The Akwa Ibom governor, our dear pastor, is already between two opinions. He has forgotten the scripture that says, must you be in between two opinions? So in a matter of weeks or so, Akwa Ibom will be APC. Cross River is already APC. So what is left is Bayelsa. So in about and Rivers, I mean, Rivers is more or less APC. If you know, you understand what I'm talking about. So in the whole of the South side, the only state that is standing is Bayelsa. But when the elections come, can Bayelsa stand the pressure that will come in from Rivers on this side, and that will come in from Delta from this side? Do not forget that Bayelsa is bounded towards the north by Rivers State and towards the south by Delta State. So is it possible that Goyediri will decamp to save his seat, or Goyediri is doing second term? Is it possible that he will decamp with the person that he wants to emerge into APC so that he can remain relevant, just like Ifeanyi Okowa has done? It's a possibility. So the South side, in terms of the political structure, they have already been captured by President Tinubu. The Southwest, of course, is already in his kitchen. Where the challenge is in the Southeast, because of their love for Peter Obi, and a major part of the South because of, in terms of the voting population, because of the contiguity to the Northeast, and the fact they can identify very easily with Peter Obi. But we can't contend, the coalition cannot contend the South. It's very unlikely that it will favorably contend the South with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If we bring a presidential candidate from the South, whether it is the South or the Southeast, clearly nobody from the Southwest is going to be willing to run against President Tinubu. Sheyi Makinde cannot make it, because the Southwest is not the only party, the only tribe that is in the South. Your brother is a Southwest, is already a Southwesterner is already there, and then PDP will now produce Sheyi Makinde, who, if he wins, will be able to may run 2 terms. If we produce anybody from the Southeast, the Northerners will prefer to vote for President Tinubu, because in that particular occasion, they're just going to wait for another 4 years. But if you bring a fresh Southerner, the possibilities are there that they will do, that fresh Southerner will do 8 years if he's able to upstate President Tinubu, in which case we're going to be asking the Northerners to wait for another 8 years. Supposing we're able to even out Tinubu, and then it will be 12 years. You think about his calculation. It's very unlikely that we're going to be able to convince the North. All right, so what we need to do is to look at where the bulk of the vote can come from and see the ticket of the coalition to the North. Because once you give presidency to the North, now that they are very angry with Bola, with the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, clearly very angry, visibly angry with them, and these guys are not as money conscious as we are. Clearly is that you will get a major part of the vote of the North, just bring small from the Southeast, supposing Peter Obi tags along, and there will always be pockets of vote that you can bring from the Southwest, and you can trust the South who have never really voted in one particular direction. The Southwest votes in one direction because they have one language. The Southeast vote in one direction, but the South, our interest differs. Edo State is still largely a PDP state. And if I remember, it's not because I'm a member of the PDP. Go to the streets, you will find out. Yesterday, the Court of Appeal delivered judgment, and Edo State was quiet. It was like nothing was happening until I saw the pictures. Okay, these guys even did a rally. We didn't know that there was a rally, because as far as people are concerned, the man who won that election is Dr. Aswen Ighodalo, but it's Nigeria. Judgment is different from justice. So this is my take on the coalition. We're going to keep talking along these lines of the coalition so that we can educate ourselves, so that we can have a president who is responsible to the people, not the one who thinks that he is doing, not the one who thinks that he is doing Nigeria a favor. Okoberry, he says, no matter the permutations or agreements signed in the public media, Atiku cannot be president of Nigeria. Atiku is one of the problems of Nigeria. He should retire and leave the Nigerian political space. Well, that's your opinion, and you are entitled to it, but I don't know the age difference. How can you say Atiku should retire and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not retire? What is the age difference between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? And then what is their fitness? I tell you, what is their fitness What is their intellectual capacity? What is their soundness? It's about fitness. It's not even just about age. Life is not about age. Life is about stage. And that's why I'm not one of the wonderful people who has advocated for youth. I've always advocated for capacity. So it is unfair, Oko Berry, to say that, president, so Atiku can never be president. There's none of them that has not been the president. That has not been the problem of Nigeria. There's none of these guys who has not been stealing from Nigeria. There's none of these people who have not put Nigeria where it is today. You may like to trace the trajectory of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as senator in I think was it zero party 1993 when Akerele Bokonotu went to the Senate. So trace them. Then, I mean, like Tuso said, only pass my brother. How many politicians in Nigeria can you vouch for? All right, what we need is a lesser evil all over the world. It is politicians who have a stake in the future, who sponsor revolution, who sponsor a change of governance through the ballot all over the world. And people are already threatened that how can we have a one-party state? We can't have a one-party state. Because if we have a one-party state, the media will be intimidated. There will not be free press. You cannot freely express yourself. They will control the social media. Look, the majority must have their way, but the minority must have their say. Oko Berry, I'm glad you are saying that, Oko Barry rather, I'm glad you are saying there's no difference between Atiku and Tinubu. But it's politics. I don't know if you're a politician. But politics is a game of number. Because you are thinking like, like a regular guy. You're not thinking like a politician. You're not thinking about where the vote will come from. Because all politics is local. All of it is local. And that's why I began my analysis by telling you that the factors that assisted, that aided Peter Obi in 2023, those factors are no longer the way it used to be in 2023. So those of us who are obedient must be ready to accept a permutation, a calculation, an arithmetic, a strategy that will bring in the votes. In 2000 and in 2012, in 2013, I think in 2007, 2011, APC looked at the approach. They saw that President at that time, Muhammadu Buhari, had a certain 12 million votes. It's not because they thought that Buhari was a great guy. They knew Buhari's limitation. But it's about winning elections. And winning elections is different. Thinking like a politician is different from the way that you are thinking. Who can win the election? So, Oko Barry, what's your suggestion? Is your suggestion that, Peter Obi should fly the flag of the coalition? What do you tell the North? That after Tinubu has done 4 years, Peter Obi should come and do another 8 years, and then the North is going to be in limbo for how long? For 12 years. It will be easier for the North to vote again for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because they are sure that he will do just 4 years. He won't have the chance for 8 years again. But put Peter Obi on the ballot, they're not to be scared. And you cannot convince them. You can't convince them again that they should vote for another Southerner who will now stand the possibility of doing 8 years. It's just mathematical. Let me thank Igalo. Egbo is watching. Gabi, how you doing? Good. My bishop, Reverend. I saw you just now, Reverend Akere, Reverend Emmanuel. Thank you for watching. George WG, sounding like George Weah. I wish it was George Weah. D. Moses is also watching. We will do this more often so that we can educate ourselves and prepare our minds. For those of you who are in Edo State, the battle is not over yet. People can mock you, but pride yourself as one of those who waited to the end. The Bible says, he that endures to the end shall be saved. That is, pride yourself that you have integrity, that you waited for the matter to be fully discharged at the level of court, and I can trust you. Even the APC, people are in APC in Edo State, they are not smiling. They are not enjoying this government. Many of them who work with and they have not been able to brandy their certificate, their appointment letter to the other. One person was asking the other time, where is Kasim Afegbo? There are a lot of people who don't understand, who don't know where they are, because I wait until they share rice. Nobody say that until they use them, until they share meat. 6 months down the line, the State Executive Council has not been formulated. And I'm hearing that the government of Okpawolo is starved of funds because of the plenty leakages. But I don't want to do an analysis, on Monday Okpawolo. There will be another time to do that. For me, I'll give him, if the Supreme Court keeps him, I'll give him 1 year. After 1 year, then we'll begin to visit him department by department. The man appears now to be overwhelmed by insecurity. And I cannot end this broadcast without making a case for my brothers in Edo Central. I'm hearing the terrible things happening in Uromi and even part of my own Ekpoma. I'm hearing how the Fulani headsmen are just raiding, and I'm seeing videos. Ojuku said the death of every Nigerian affects me. Because I'm a Nigerian, I'm involved. So we must call the president, the governor of Edo State as it stands today, to come to the rescue of our Ishan brother. Your Ishan brother, you are nowhere about. I'm nowhere about with what is happening. I will recommend that the governor relocates government house temporarily to Uromi, and then from that becomes where he operates from. Then he can take charge of the insecurity in that location. He must take charge of insecurity in that location by himself. Again, I can't end by wishing if I don't wish the Azua one, Albert Obazet happy birthday. People have asked me to say, oh, call Albert Obazet to order. Why are you supporting him? I said, look, you get your own phone now. You said call him to order. Now, mouth work Obazet they do now. Obazet is not threatening anybody. You may not like what is. Maybe people don't like the truth. People don't like the truth. The only opposition in the manner of speaking that we have today is Albert Obazet. All right. You may not like his methodologies, but the guy is making more contribution to those who are in the public space. And then there are people who are mocking, they destroyed Obaset's house. Tell Obaset, there's no, you can't convince me that it is okay to use a submachine gun to kill a mosquito, or to even kill a rabbit for that matter. Why should I? There's no reason why anybody should degenerate to violence. I hate oppression like I hate the devil. When I was in secondary school, I was not very big. I was a small guy. I didn't even think I was going to be as big as this. I was a small guy. And I used to have people who used to intimidate me. And I hated it for they were bullies. I don't like bullies. Because me, you don't only get mouth. So when we argue, actually we win. And then when the bully sees that he's losing, he turns the thing into physical. Because he knows that he's bigger than me. He now wants to scatter the whole thing. Now mouth the guy they use. I know other people who abuse Albert Obazet. There are some other people in social media who abuse about Obazet too. So now mouth to mouth. If you weaken me, I fubara you. Now mouth to mouth. Nobody should now, because of their affiliation with public office, now mobilize people. And then people say, Albert is looking for amnesty in the UK. That be today where Albert they travel. And at any rate, clearly the people who are saying so, they are criminals. That's how they also criminals. People are confessing. They say, we know the package. Now they say people too have done terrible things in Nigeria, and they use it to gain amnesty. It's a confession. They are confessing. So you can see criminals, because you think that what you will do is what I will do. So if a criminal, if a rapist stays with a pretty girl, he thinks that, or if I stay with a pretty girl, he thinks that what I will do with a pretty girl is what he will do with a pretty girl, because his mind is corrupt. So for those who are saying, oh, Albert is looking for stay in the UK. Oh, we know the format. I mean, those are, you can say criminals are already talking, because that's the format they use to get their papers where they've gotten, their papers. So they are telling you what the format is. But for me, evidence abounds that people went to Albert Obaset's house, and there's no how, after having my property destroyed. You are asking me to call the man to order. Why should I call the man to order? You have already gone ultra bias. You have used it. Nobody has the monopoly of violence. If it was not for APC government, can anybody threaten Albert Obaze? Is it not because they now think that, oh, we are APC, we can get some kind of coverage and cooperation from the police? So nobody should come into my inbox to say, call Albert Obaze to order. Now, mouth they use. If Albert Obaze, for instance, face me, I'll face him back with mouth. Because I have the intellectual capacity to be able to face Albert Obaze. Now, mouth to mouth. Now, when they conquer you with mouth, it's because you're probably not as hard working. You probably don't have the source of information. Because Albert Obaze has information. Even right inside the APC government, right inside the government house, the guy comes out, with breaking news, and he's helping to keep the system in check. I know what they said about the chief of staff when they were not going to make him the chief of staff. I know some of the things that he said that people in APC used and benefited and got the present position that you are in. Now, mouth walking. Now, people will know they're intelligent. Okay, let Albert take on Reverend Olumatins today. If I will not take on Albert, I'll take on Albert back. Take on him back, because now mouth today. If you use mouth, I will use mouth. We used to say it in church. If the devil attacks me spiritually, I will attack him spiritually. If he comes physically to attack me, I will not pray. I will deal with him physically. I'm told that the story of Smith Wigglesworth. Some witches were in his church and they were hindering the service. They sat on the bench. The man did not pray. You came physically to inside church. If I'm spiritually now, I will pray. The man carried the bench and threw them out of the church. They get out of here, Lord. You came physically. I will deal with you physically. Now, mouth. Abacus is trouble. Okay, so you use your mouth against Albert and cut Albert to size with your mouth. Nobody should be threatening. It's weak people that use threat. It's weak people that use force. It's weak people that will say, I will beat you. Like I said, I was small in secondary school and they were intimidating me because you don't tell where I get mouth and you could hardly win me. So when the battle gets and people are calling, hey! The big guy among them come and tap my chest because he wants to have a pound of flesh. At any rate, how do we bring up our children in this mini city? How do we bring up our children? We bring up our children to fight. My son, I have a son. He's 2 years older than the sister. He can't touch his sister. The sister may touch him, but if he touch his sister. Because I'm bringing up my son well to be a gentleman. Even now, before he enters into the vehicle, both of them know. One, the boy is 6, the girl is 4. But as soon as they want to enter into the vehicle, my son will step back and say, ladies first. If he doesn't say so, my daughter will shout. So we're teaching our children non-violence. We're teaching them to walk away. Because anybody who can think that he must generate violence to handle matters is not well brought up. That's those kind of people are also wife beaters. Well, why wife beater? Because to be violent is you are appealing to the base nature. The wise people walk away. It's more difficult to walk away. I'm sure husbands who are watching on air, they know this one. Sometimes when my wife annoys me, I just angrily, because I know myself, so if I stay longer than that, I will not be, I'm not physical, but what I go tell them, it go worse past if I beat her. So I walk away. But weak husbands will carry their hand and slap their wife and carry their belt and beat their wife. Somebody that you are really stronger than. If you wanted to fight, go stadium now. So it's weak husband. It's weakness to degenerate. You are not, no. It's only the security agencies who have the right to use reasonable force. That's why it's called armed forces, not individual. You can't take the laws into your hands. You can't now be physical and say, I'm going to go and deal with it. And it's amazing. It's amazing to hear some Edo people speak and say, oh, make Albert come Nigeria now. Make come Nigeria. You are telling the man that Nigeria is not safe for him. You are saying that Edo State government cannot guarantee him because he's in PDP or because he's in opposition. That's exactly what you are saying. And then we are still looking for foreign direct investment. How can a man not be safe in his own state because he spoke against certain persons? So if you arise, what will you do? You now gather to beat him, a Bini boy, because the people that he has issues with, Bini. You can't find such things in Eastern land. It's not even in Edo North. As much as Danobi was on the jugular of Adams Ali Oshomole as governor, there was no time that Adams Oshomole took on him. Because now we're power no, they understand themselves. It's the same thing in Eastern land. Oh, we are back. Anytime I travel to Esa land. I have brothers. The Moscow brothers are my brothers. Many of them are APC. All right. Many of them are APC. I go to their house. We eat. We drink. They say you were this. Yes, that he ends there. But the kind of viscosity, the kind of hatred in Edo State is I am really, really, really frightened by it. Because once it goes past a hub, you enter to Iruekman, it's a different ball game entirely. I have a couple of people who are in this government, they are Asian. We talk very well. Eugene Okolosi, Ishak, I thought Shaka Momodu, Ishak, the last time even myself and Victor Adoro, we were, of course, now Victor, we know the 2 degree right from university. Now, but we still have it off. Hey, the last time we met at a party, they said, I was about to only PDP in the table. The rest of them were APC. And many of them were Isha. They said, we give one thing to Reverend. You married a beautiful wife. And they all clap for me. All of Isha, we just live there. Because we know at the end of the day that the death of every Nigerian affects me. Because I'm a Nigerian, I'm involved. Because I'm an Assam man, I'm involved. You hardly ever find where Assam guys will fight to the death. We may differ, but once we differ, it is done and dusted. When we meet at the and we just forget about it. In Edo North, it is the same thing. When you come to Edo South, the level of poison, I don't understand. What and you guys, you are about the most homogeneous in terms of language, in terms of cultural heritage. But the way the Edo South people hate themselves, the level of betrayal, the way they will be speaking against themselves, the way they will be threatening themselves, the way they will be threatening to pull down each other. Well, I can't say more than that, so that I don't divert this discussion, because what I'm talking about is the coalition and to encourage PDP members to stay faithful. Some of us don't know how to gallivant. I've never really joined a political party. I don't know how to. I have close friends in the APC government. We talk, we greet. They've made offers to me. I say, I don't know how to do it. My mechanic is the same mechanic for 11 years. My baba is the same baba for 8 years. Where I go to fix, if I don't go to fix with my mechanic at Ubowo, the one I go to visit at Igun is the same panel beater. It is the same mechanic. I don't know how to do, Ashewo things. I've been married to my wife. She's the same woman for the past 7 years. That's the kind of person that I am. I love snooker. I go to play snooker in the same location. I love swimming. I go to swim in the same location. So I'm not in a hurry to leave the People's Democratic Party. I wasn't in a hurry to join them. So I'm not in a hurry to leave. Because for me, politics is leave and let leave. And at all, Boro must survive. We must rock get down. If it's too bad, there are people that we can put a call through to say, bros, seriously, be. At all, they go break something. So, boy, we love what you are doing. Survive. And it won't be long as your heart is pure. Before God picks you up and then you bounce back to life again. At the end of the day, we are brothers. I hope that this quarrel, honestly speaking, among brothers, we only end on social media. I hope it will end on social media. And I hope it's only on social media. If you list all the guys now, all the volatility is coming from a set of guys. The guy who is in Canada, the guy who is in America, the guy who is in the UK, the guy who is here. He's mostly around, with all due respect, around the Benin brothers. You won't hear much of it with the Eastern brother, and you practically don't hear anything at all among the Edo North. They are not North guys because they are close to the North. They behave like the Hausas. They're very simple. They don't hold any grudges. They may be temperamental, but they're very simple. All right. So let's use mouth to deal with mouth. If the person comes spiritually, deal with him spiritually. If he comes physically, deal with him physically. But person not going to use mouth. Another person, because he thinks that he has done a connection, will be threatening. I will deal with you. It's with people that subscribe to violence. And I've had people say, hey, but during the election, you also subscribe to violence. And I told them that for that video, it was unfortunate. But I suffered immensely for it. Because I felt I don't have a track record of being violent. I don't have a track record of it. The video was unfortunate, but I suffered for it. I was arrested by a 21-man police invasion. They lured me to a meeting. I was arrested. I was charged to court that day. I was in court for more than 4 months, going to court almost on a weekly basis. I barely got the DSS swooped on me and interrogated, grilled me like a terrorist. I filled several forms. I had to write an undertaking. So my lessons are left. So if the DSS arrested me because a video came out where I was careless, where it was shown that I was careless with the things that I said, then they arrested me and not above the law. This is regrettable. It should be done for everybody. What is good for the married woman is also good for the man that gave her the pregnancy. So if they gave you maternity leave, they should give the man paternity leave, because maybe everybody they shoot something with belle go, they shoot blank. So if a man has been able to shoot something and the woman carry belle, they give the woman maternity leave, then they give the man paternity leave. So if they arrested me for sex, because they say a video came out where I 13 people, anybody who should also be arrested. They can't be double standard. I suffered for it. So when people say, oh, but also I suffered, I paid the price for it. I paid the price for it. All right, and I paid the price, like according to Shaggy. I'm not sorry because I was caught. I'm sorry because that kind of video, I shouldn't be associated with that kind of a thing. But what the heck? I'm not explaining to anybody. I've gone to court. I've gone through the process of litigation. I've gone through the process of interrogation with the police. So if anybody wants to dwell in the past, that what the heck? That's your business. I've moved past it. All right, I've learned my lesson and I've moved on. You can play the video if you like. You are the one that is stuck in the past. I've moved on. At any rate, if your life is perfect, please, you can inbox me so that I can learn how to be a perfect person from you. I beg, second base, Jared. I got to run. This thing is. I wish I can take. Okay, there are a few comments here and there, and if you can make your inputs. I wish I can have the opportunity to bring 1 or 2 persons on. All right. Or there are a few persons I wish that I can bring 1 or 2 persons online. Let me see if I can invite, if I can add Josephine or Didier. If she would come online and make a few statements. I'm asking a few persons, Josephine or Didier. You can hear me. I've invited you. You can come on, and then we can make your input. And then I can have your. Yeah, I'm adding you, Josephine, if you're there, so we can bring this. We can bring this broadcast to a close. All right. I'm seeing some faces. I don't know who you are. And if make some people not come here, come insult my papa and my mama. You don't say, they fear. They say the people say, who will kill you? Or who will this? I wasn't brought up that way. Brought up as a king, so I'm very careful. The things I say, I've never had to insult my wife. They said, yeah, they had me now. But the way some people just go kill. I've never. When I hear those things, they are strange. Because it's a matter of upbringing. Sometimes they are brought up in a local environment. Some of the things that you do, it's difficult to take them out of you. All right, guys. Maybe we'll do this again Sunday evening. Yeah, Sunday evening. I'll probably come up a lot earlier so that I can run this thing without having to run a generator, because usually there's light till exactly 8:05. And they will interrupt power by 8:05 and bring it by 10:05 again. Thank you, Esosa Imadi, Monday, David. I don't want to take it that everybody is a friend, but it's okay. You got to be tolerant of divergent opinions. So even if you have a different opinion, I want to thank you. Please share this post. That's what you can do for me. Yes, let me thank all of you who followed me. Oh, I can't end by saying I had over, and I should thank Albert Obasi. As soon as he posted my video, I had almost 300 people, 300 new followers at the same time. God bless. I'm trying to hit 10,000, so you can help. I probably just need about 31 more people. So if you help me share this video, all right? Because sometimes there are people that I don't agree with, but I cannot but admire their intelligence. I don't agree with them. But when I hear them, like I say, man, this guy is good. For instance, I don't agree with Daniel Boala, all right? But I can't deny the fact that Daniel Boala is good. But it's good even when you don't agree with him.
So you may not agree with me. According to Two-Face, as they see me, so I don't send you. That's what not me say, I know they wish you well. So that you, I don't send you to. If you don't like me, I don't like you. But it doesn't mean that I don't wish you well. I can never wish you evil, because I don't know whether I'm the one that whether I'm the one that will pay for your mala, or whether you are the one that will pay for my rice, whether you are the one that will pay for my transport. I don't know where our children will meet. So why should we play politics of bitterness and politics of hatred? Is it not Pastor Sake Izeayamu, APC's daughter, that is going to marry now to Matthew Idoekewe's son? For some of us, whenever we will not get no shit from Yan Chateau, but the ones who are quarreling, see two billionaires, two big boys, their children are married. You that have not been able to use politics to buy one car, even that one car that you have, you need to do Uber. You never feel buy land. Politics never pay you like that. You are the one that is insulting. Oh, it will not be well with you. You are a fake pastor. See big boys who have made billions from their involvement in politics and other asset holding. Their wives are marrying. You there they hate. They buy credit. They use that they insult people generation. You are mumu pastor. You are, no problem. It doesn't change anything. Whatever your opinion doesn't change anything. But we've got to be decent. We've got to disagree without being disagreeable. And then I know vessel. I don't they talk for a long time. Listen, a power they tell the mad. Madman say no be the madness be the problem. And you walk out. When they hear something for your head, they say ring road. When you reach ring road, you think that the thing will stop. You go as soon as ring road, the thing will start saying Ramapa. You reach Ramapa, the thing will start saying Eho. Now so madman say they reach out. So no be the man that you walk out from inside. So you would allow me sign off at this junction. My power they say the man. I want to thank you for staying on. I wish I can bring some of you on, but I'm not sure of who I'm talking to. Reverend Emmanuel, thank you so very much. I gotta go here. Please enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Now we don't hear from Olu Martins. Let us know what you think for comment section. If you never subscribe to Dan ARG YouTube, try make you subscribe so that make you for the hear all the things where they happen for Nigeria. Make I leave you with this video, make you help us share them. Thank you for watching Dan ARG YouTube.